Good morning, race fans, and welcome to Day 3, the last day of the 2024 NRRA Championship. Wow, it's hard to believe that this season is winding down already. Thank you guys for joining us here. We are at Wildcat Off-Road Park this weekend, presented by Mickey Thompson. And we cannot wait to get started on an awesome day of racing to wrap up this season. Matt, we are we're cruising our way towards the finish line of the season now. We've had 2 awesome days of racing so far. What are your thoughts on what we've been watching already and what we might see coming up today?
So far, I think things are kind of as we had predicted last couple of races coming in. Timmy's kind of holding back, being a little more conservative because he does have that 42-point lead, 52-point lead coming in this weekend, so he can let guys gain on him a little bit each course. It's not going to matter. Playing it smart, being very calculated about where he puts every tire, every throttle gas. Daniel's obviously out there driving hard, having fun, but again, still trying to hold on to that. I don't think anybody can bump up to the second. So first and second, as long as there's no major mistakes, won't change going into today. Especially throughout the day, I think, as they're locked in with their points because they have such a far lead.
Yep.
The third spot, however, I think is what we're going to everybody is glued to see because we have such a crazy, crazy battle there between Nick Wright and Cooper Bentley. Again, just watching those two guys go at it all season, as well as the last couple races, changing points, even this weekend. Both of them were up there high-fiving each other, having fun, saying, hey, good luck, wishing each other good luck. So I think that's going to be a spot to watch because that is third place for the season.
Yep.
Coming into today, there's 1 point of separation. So I think that's what we're going to look for.
I think so. We've got our Cup class to wrap up today, Course 4, and then we've got our UTV Bounty class, and then, of course, the Bouncers. So we've still got a very full day of racing ahead of us. I believe we are going to start with round 4 for our Super Grip UTV Cup class, and then we'll do Bounty, Bouncers, Bounty, Bouncers. We got 3 and 4 for the Bounty and the Bouncers still. So we wrapped up UTV Stock, UTV Youth, and VIN class already over our last 2 days of racing. So we've had lots of great racing action here. We've had some beautiful weather.
Yeah.
This is the best weather we've had all year at a race, I think, after a very rainy and muddy race season.
Mud and rain. Yeah, I think
this is really nice.
7 of our 9 races, it had rained before or during.
Yes.
Normally we get 1 at Wildcat. It was actually really nice weather here. The rest of them, though, it was, again, watching Jack and Jay both sit in the starting gate as it just torrentially downpours.
Yep.
And Jay said they pulled me up right in the middle of that race line starting gate, and water was just dripping on my head. I'm just like, I love this sport. I love this sport.
This is fun. This is fun. This is fun.
This is fun. This is fun. Yeah, no, they're doing great.
Oh, we got poured on at Pretty Place this year. At Indian Mountain it was drizzly.
Yes.
It wasn't terrible, but it was definitely wet.
Yeah.
So,
West Virginia it was a long season. Long season.
Oh, but we are loving this beautiful weather out here at Wildcat this weekend. Thank you guys for joining us here on Hillside Live. I hope you were able to catch the racing action from the last 2 days, and if not, of course, you can always go back and watch that on the Rock Racing TV Facebook page and YouTube channel. I believe we are just about ready to send DC Thompson off the line.
I think they're making sure the course is clear, making sure all of our cameramen and camera ladies are in position, making sure our course is clear, checking all of our safety stuff on the course.
I'll go ahead and give you guys a top 5 rundown from Course 3 yesterday. Our fastest time was Cooper Bentley with a 73.4, followed by Clay Kaysen with a 73.6, then Nathan King with a 77, DC Thompson with an 80, and Dylan Dowler with an 81. Those are your top 5 from yesterday's Course 3 in our Super Grip UTV Cup class.
Yeah, so definitely a crazy weekend for all of our racing. We have wrapped up some of the different series. We do have a few still to close out, a couple courses left, so it'll be a very good time, and I'm excited. We were watching some guys down here after there were some course modifications done yesterday after racing, so you'll see a couple things that have been adjusted for the racers, but I saw also some of the guys down here last night playing on it and kind of testing, tuning. Martin Stewart was down here. I saw Tim Cameron's Snapchat. Martin Stewart was down here kind of launching, playing a little bit, and it gave me a little confidence that, this isn't that bad, because, again, at first glance, it looks pretty horrific. But
as many of the hills do. I mean, we always tell you guys, everything on camera, everything out here in person is steeper than it looks to you on your screen. So always got to keep that in mind.
Yeah, it's pretty gnarly. Again, I just posted my GoPro footage this morning of my run, and again, it's like sky hill.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Add in a rock and a tree occasionally. And
yeah.
All right, guys, let's go to the line. We've got DC Thompson starting things off today for day 3, the final day of our finals weekend. DC had a third-place finish on round 1 and a fourth-place finish yesterday for round 3.
Making quick work of that section there. Again, these hills are very similar to what we've been racing all weekend. The uphill, downhill section. The course does get carved out a little bit differently depending on where they're going, what class you're racing in. Again, we try to always have a very fun course, a little challenging course, but at the same time make it safe for each class. And it's insane what some of these UTVs can do. And these drop-downs are just a little wild. Whoa!
Oh, and of course it's never easy being the first one out on the track. But DC is through the finish line. 72.961, our first time of the day.
And speaking of going first, the guy watching that first run, Mr. Clay Kaysen, sitting in that race line starting gate. Again, I'm sure he was paying very close attention to how those new drop-ins are going. So, again, he's been just setting on fire the last couple races.
Clay had a first-place finish on round 1, third place on round 2, and second place on round 3. We'll see what he can do with round 4.
Ever since Indian Mountain, he has been just like, I'm going to set it on fire, and he'd been just driving like a wild man.
Clay came into this weekend second in points behind Tim Cameron in our UTV Cup class. So he's definitely defending that position. He had a 9-point lead over Dylan Dowler coming into the weekend. Not a huge gap, so he's definitely been pushing hard. But so is Dylan. So is everybody.
It is. Being the last day of racing for the season, I think you're going to see some guys send it. And this is the last course for this exact class. Ooh, kind of sidestepping that hill as he rounds the corner.
So this is everyone's final run for the 2024 season for our Super Grip UTV Cup class. They got to make it count.
Ooh.
Oh, nice.
He chose to kind of send it off, hit that jump, that fresh dirt over there.
That was a fast run.
That was. That's a 66.101. That is a fast time. Are we going to see somebody pick him off, though? Again, being the second guy to go out of a dozen and a half drivers, is that time going to hold? Again, that was a really quick run at 66, but, I mean, there's a handful of guys there. I definitely know Mr. Tim Cameron coming up, Dylan Dowler.
I know Nathan King's going to be pushing hard, too.
Dan Carter in that new chassis. I know there's a handful of guys that are going to try to knock him off. Again,
Cooper is going to be.
Cooper.
Cooper's up there, too. David Darnell on the course now.
Again, we watched David Darnell get hung up a little bit yesterday. I know we were talking this morning, and he goes, I didn't think I broke anything, because we were talking, did he break something, because we saw the wheel cock. He said, I didn't quite think I broke something. It was just such an awkward spot. I didn't want to roll it and tear the buggy up a whole bunch and not be able to race today.
It was definitely a very awkward spot that he ended up in yesterday. If you missed the video, he was hanging off one of these ledges, one back tire for sure up in the air, and he needed a little recovery assistance on course 3.
His back tire was about chest high when we saw a recovery crew walking by. So
yeah, that was a tough one.
definitely got him hung up and keep it safe in the buggy. Was able to get out and do some racing today.
Oh. You can see how he's trying to pick his line, making that off-camber turn uphill and hitting those ledges.
Yeah. Again, and you can see that far right section there is so undercut. It would not go well if you hit that, especially at a side angle. So being very calculated there, trying to keep it up.
Hopefully he's not having any flashbacks.
Yes. There you go.
Oh! And he made it. Oh, that tire.
Front tire.
Come on, hang in there.
Definitely broke something there. Maybe a ball joint.
107.858 for David Darnell. And a little bit of a rough few days of racing for him. Glad to see him be able to make it through that finish line.
Yeah, and again, being having that front ball joint or whatever he broke there, that does stink. But that's the last course of the season. So if you're going to break, at least you do it. 50 feet from the finish line on the last course of the season. It's a pretty safe place to do it. Got Brandon Davis pulling on that race line starting gate. His new orange and gray wrap on that black chassis. This is a new chassis he picked up from Skinny Pedal Fab. Jonathan Shepard does some pretty amazing stuff. You guys will have to check out. He also is a sponsor of our Skinny Pedal Fab Wild Man Award, basically. That's what it's turned into. And we watch guys send it be pretty incredible. Again, these rocks being here undercut, we really thought coming into the season we're going to be a lot more trouble, and I don't think I've seen anybody yet have problems.
The race line rocks have been a difficult obstacle in the past.
Yeah,
and they haven't been any trouble at all.
Yeah,
this time around.
I don't think we may slow down for them.
Thank you guys for joining us here on Hillside Live. I see a few people tuning in. Good morning. Welcome to the race day number 3. The end of the 2024 season.
Go, buddy, go. Again, you can see him kind of on those rocks there, just kind of sidestepping them a little bit. There is a little bit of a grade, to the passenger side. So you can see a lot of guys trying to hang to that driver's side a little more favorable. Again, he said this new tube chassis has a lot better visibility than necessarily a full body.
I'm sure. Come on, Brandon. Wait, one more time for the season. Let's go, Brandon. There it is. 77.679 for Brandon Davis. That is a third-place time currently. Clay Kaysen in the lead right now with a 66, followed by D.C. Thompson with a 72, Brandon Davis with a 77, David Darnell with a 107. We are about a third of the way through Course 4 for the Super Grip UTV Cup class. The final round, and Cooper Bentley is on the course.
Cooper has had just some super quick times this season. Again, started out in the UTV, moved to the big bouncer, racing that money shot, which he put on the top podium. Was season champion, or leading the season points earlier this season, and had a DNF. Now is battling for third and had just an incredible racing season so far.
And in the Cup class, Cooper was in 4th in points coming into this weekend, and he had a 2nd, 4th, and 1st place finish so far on our 3 other courses. So
definitely going to help him out there.
Pretty solid weekend of racing so far. Let's see how he finishes it out.
He's making quick work of that downhill section.
This is turning out to be a pretty quick course.
It really is. I thought guys would be a little bit slower paced on the downhill section. 68.094 for Mr. Cooper Bentley.
And that is a second-place time right now. Still behind Clay with that 66. Speaking of a Kaysen, we've got Cody Kaysen now on the line.
That CNC Motorsports. They were also a feature driver Friday for us not too long ago. And the great part was they both won their respective classes that day, which was super neat.
Cody's definitely been putting in work in the full body rigs this season. He's been dominating the stock class and really holding his own in the cup class too, even though he's the only one racing the full body rig out here.
It really is impressive. It also is a testament to how impressive these full bodies are becoming and what you can do with them.
Definitely true. I also got to point out that Cody is one of our most consistent drivers to grab a vest on the Saturdays and days he's not racing on a typical race weekend, or anytime he's not racing, and be the first one out on the hill for a recovery, running up to help in any way he can. And I definitely want to give him a shout out for that and recognize that we appreciate the time he puts in for his fellow racers. 72.330.
Wow.
For Cody Kaysen.
That's the third place right now?
Yes.
Wow.
DC was a 72.9.
Wow.
Cody a 72.3.
Third place in a full body.
In the full body.
I think that's a testament to his driver ability.
Definitely.
Coming out of the starting gate here, Mr. Tim Cameron. Again, doing well, sitting very high in the points this season. I think he's trying to do well, but also be very consistent, and hopefully can hang on to that number one spot.
Well, he came into the weekend with a 54-point lead over Clay Kaysen. So what we've seen from Timmy is just smooth and calculated. Timmy is not pushing hard. He doesn't need to.
No, he is just trying to keep momentum going. I think he's trying to get lined up so it's perfectly straight up and down. After we've seen a couple guys bobble really hard there, and then Brandon also got hung up.
I think at this point, nothing will take the championship away from him unless he DNFs.
Yeah.
So there's really no reason for him to be getting crazy out here.
And again, that we've seen some guys bobble right there in that exact spot. So I think his goal was just to, hey, I want to make sure I'm going straight up the hill, not kind of cattywampus, if you will, kind of coming at an angle, because it is kind of a slight grade to the passenger side there with the big ledges.
This might be the slowest run that we've seen from Tim Cameron.
Ever. Yeah.
And we all know why he's doing it. It's just it's a little different watching him out there easing around the course.
Yeah. And literally his entire goal with that, it was a 94.838. I think you're right, Bree. I think that was our slowest run we've ever seen from him. But again, this was the last course for the season.
Yep.
All he had to do was finish, and he wins the championship. So again, you know that kind of pressure is sitting in the back of his brain, like, don't mess up, don't mess up, don't mess up.
Well, Jay Shaw called it here. He said, you call this a victory lap.
Yes.
Pretty much. That's what that was. Austin Tidwell on the course now.
Yeah, I would say that's kind of a victory lap there.
Good morning to everybody tuning in with us.
Ooh. Again, you can see kind of why Timmy backed up there. We've seen a lot of guys kind of bobble that coming in there at such an angle. it would be a shame to watch him roll over there. So you can see some of the other guys pushing hard. Brandon Davis kind of had to get hung up there a little bit, but was able to get pulled over.
Come on, Alston. The final stretch for the 2024 season. And he's through the finish line. 87.808 for Alston Tidwell. Nathan King sitting in that race line starting gate now. Nathan had a third place finish yesterday and a first place finish on course 2. He is running for Matt Myrick's points this weekend.
He is absolutely flying through there. Again, that orange 01 car, we've seen absolutely just ripping it all season.
Man, has that thing taken a beating over the last couple seasons.
It really has. We've seen him race Bounty with it. We've seen him race Cup Series with it. We've seen him literally tear it apart and put it back together between courses.
So the time to beat right now is a 66 from Clay Kaysen. And, oh, man, that little spot right there is going to cost him a bit. When the times are this tight, I mean, we've got a 72.9 and a 72.3 already on the board. One little bobble, one rock can mess you up.
Ooh. Yeah, I think you want to be really cautious here. Again, especially if you're getting close to the podium for the season. That's a 76.558 for Nathan King.
76.588.
588.
Yeah. Still a good, very solid run for Nathan. We've got, let's see, 4 drivers left, I believe, to finish up course number 4, the final course for Super Grip UTV Cup class. Casey Howell is on the line now.
What's up,
Thanks
Tony
for
Clifton?
tuning in with us, everybody.
Danny. Tim Bacon in there in the live chat, that Bacon family. Appreciate those guys.
Glad you guys can join us here on Hillside Live for day 3. We've had an awesome 2 days of racing so far. Day 3 is shaping up to be the same. Beautiful weather here at Wildcat Off-Road Park.
Yeah, it's been incredible.
Awesome racing action. We've been blessed with some nice, fast racing.
Oh, yeah.
Not a lot of gnarly recoveries, slowing things down.
Yeah.
I know everybody appreciates that. Especially when we've got double the racing happening.
Yes, it was very nice. And we did have recoveries. They were very quick. Shout out to our recovery crew for helping get it done. Keith Toolman out there. Again, UTV usually was like 2 guys. Like, stay in it, we'll flip you back over. So, Casey's absolutely ripping through this course.
Casey came into the weekend 5th in points overall. He had a second place finish on course 2, 5th place finish on course 1, but unfortunately he had that DNF yesterday on course 3, which was a major bummer for him as he had been top 5. But a solid finish today with a 71.039. That is a 3rd place time right now. Clay Kaysen still in the lead with a 66, followed by Cooper Bentley with a 68. Now Casey Howell with a 71. And then we've got a 72.3 from Cody Kaysen and a 72.9 from DC Thompson. Those are your top 5 right now. Martin Stewart on the line running for Austin Connell's points.
Again, we saw Martin Stewart last night down here playing on these courses and playing on some of the newer areas we race in today, and he was making it look easy.
This buggy definitely stands out here for being a right-hand drive. We've only seen that a handful of times out here racing.
Definitely being very careful on that uphill section. Again, having a quick time here. Again, we saw him down here playing last night, getting everything dialed in. And again, he was making it look very smooth last night.
Nicely done.
That's an 85.930. That was Martin Stewart racing for Austin Connell. Mr. Dan the Man Carter pulling to that line in that red, white, and blue chassis that Rock Life Off-Road unveiled earlier this season. And he has definitely become very accustomed and very comfortable in this rig very quickly. Just an awesome chassis.
Dan and the, oh, look at that, going above the tree.
Well,
Dan,
yeah, a little high line there.
Yeah, Dan and the whole Rock Life crew are a fun bunch. If you guys don't already follow them, you should be sure to go check them out.
They're very ornery, very silly. They have a lot of fun. They have a very good time with their social media.
Yeah, you guys go check out Dan Carter Racing. See what he's got going on. Always a good time when they come around. Dan's had a solid weekend of racing. No DNFs, and we've seen plenty of those sprinkled into our UTV Cup class. And there it is.
Go, baby, go.
$78.028. Nicely done.
Super smooth run.
Cheryl, Martin Stewart had a 85.930. That was for Austin Connell.
I see that neon orange rig pull into the starting line. That can only mean one thing, that Mr. Dylan Dowler is up next. Double D Motorsports. Again, it's hard to miss his rig. It's very, it's like very caution.
There's a few of those out here
very,
that are
very caution friendly.
easy to find in a crowd.
Yeah, where's he on the hill? Oh, we know. We know.
Daniel Cooper is in second currently. Clay Kaysen in the lead with a 66, followed by Cooper Bentley with a 68, Casey Howell with a 71, and Dylan Dowler going to see what he can do about that right now. Don't be dilly-dallying.
Don't be dilly-dallying.
Come on, Dylan. It's the last one. Make it count. Dylan is going to wrap up our Super Grip UTV Cup class for the 2024 season.
Can you watch Dylan kind of coming in and kind of straightening it up a little bit more like Tim Cameron did there. Make sure he has a nice smooth climb. Again, you can see those ruts getting built up. Just again, it's crazy to see how deep those ruts are getting for the side by sides and not having a whole lot of trouble there.
Yeah, I was going to say, and at the same time, it's amazing what they can still handle. And make it look so smooth.
And make it look easy. These almost.
Little tires.
That's a 7.6.233 for Mr. Dylan Dowler.
That does wrap up course 4 for the Super Grip UTV Cup class. We're going to take a quick commercial break, and when we come back, I'll have that rundown for you, and we'll be ready for UTV Bounty.
The Mickey Thompson Premium Mud Terrain is on the road and full of undisputed attitude. The Baja Boss MT. No compromises, ever. We are purpose-built tires for truck and Jeep enthusiasts everywhere. All mud tires are not created equal, and here's the proof. Powerfly XD construction, asymmetrical tread design, extreme side biters, and more. Find your tire size today at MickeyThompsonTires.com.
All right, that top 5 from course 4 for the Cup class. Clay Kaysen took it with a 66, then Cooper Bentley with a 68, Casey Howell with a 71, Cody Kaysen with a 72.3, and DC Thompson with a 72.9.
Wow.
Those were your top 5 from course 4, so that does complete our Super Grip UTV Cup class for the season.
Yeah, again, shout out to those guys coming out and battling it hard, not just today, but all season long. Next, we have UTV Bounty and then the Bouncers. So we have 2 courses for UTV Bounty and the Bouncers. They run the same course, so we have 2 courses for those guys today. Definitely going to be a very interesting day. I'm excited to see how it shakes out, one way or the other.
Definitely, and we already know the points have been back and forth in the Bouncer class. We talked about that a little bit at the start of the show, between that 3rd and 4th place spot, even 5th place kind of creeping in on there now. And then in Bounty, We've had some things shake up a little bit. Nathaniel Bell came into the weekend with a 21-point lead. Casey Howell in 2nd place with a 59-point lead over Madison King in 3rd place. Josh Krapinski 4th. Alston Tidwell rounding out the top 5. Coming into the weekend, I'm not sure where things stand exactly after our first 2 days of racing. I can give you a rundown from yesterday's course 2. Casey Howell had the fastest time, followed by Nathaniel Bell, Madison King, Josh Krapinski, Alston Tidwell, and unfortunately Nathan King got a little lost on course.
Yeah.
And he was a DNF. So
again, Josh Krapinski was one of our featured driver Fridays. Very cool. Josh, and again, a staple on the racing series as well. Had a great season, been on the podium, and has a new baby. So he's had a busy season.
Good year.
He's had a busy season.
Yeah.
You know,
that's a good one.
Very cool. Appreciate everybody tuning in with us. Up, Kirsty Wills.
We've got Alston Tidwell on the line. He is going to start things off for UTV Bounty. This is course 3, and we're going to head to the line. I think we're ready.
Heck yeah. Cheryl Davis jumping in the chat there. Austin Connell. Craig Meadows. I know he's probably on the hill somewhere. Casey Stewart, what's up? Part of that Stewart family.
All right, I got to give a shout-out. There's Cody Kaysen sitting on Alston's tire right there. Cody's got the vest on. And because I mentioned earlier during his race how, got to give him a shout-out for being so quick to always come help with recovery. He already raced this morning and grabbed his vest and is out here ready to help his fellow racers. So got to give Cody a shout-out for that.
Not to mention, one of the fastest guys to your vehicle. Like you're not even.
Yeah, I don't know how he gets up the hill so quickly.
You're not even done rolling over, and he's already in the cab. Like, hey, buddy, you okay? You all right? Want me to help you there? And then he probably says something very amusing, like, "Hey, that was kind of crazy, right? Huh?" Again, you can definitely see all the bouncer drivers kind of packing in around that Raceland starting gate, getting ready to watch this because this will be the same course they're racing. So they're going to double check that, look at all the course over, again, watch how the buggy handles.
We got Charles tuning in from Arizona. Where's everybody else watching from today? Side by side, we ride. We love the live, too. We're glad that you guys are enjoying the show. We're happy to be able to bring it to you. Debbie, yes, Timmy is definitely here.
Yes, Timmy is here. Although there has been a few years where he's had such a lead that he could do like 2 courses and then be like, oh, you know what, I'm going to pack up. Like, it's always impressive.
But where's the fun in that?
But you know what? And you know what the funny thing is? He still comes out. He still battles hard. He still gets after it. And he said, no, I'm a true competitor. I want to come out.
I was going to say, because racing's not just all about points.
He said, I want to win every course. I want to win every hill. And that, to me, is kind of a true competitor, the heart of a competitor.
Mm-hmm.
You know, even if you know you can win, you still show up, you still battle hard. And anything can happen on race day.
It's for the love of the sport and the competition and the need for speed.
Yeah, I think Timmy just likes going fast, you know? Like, Mom, I'm going fast.
I think that's why we're all here today.
Yep.
Bunch of people that like going fast.
Yes. We got a camera angle getting ready to reset, as well as we're going to make sure our course is clear. All of our recovery experts are on there. Keith Toolman down there at the bottom. I know he's one of our guys that not only helps recovery, but to take it back, he'll also help you fix it, loan you tools. We were laughing this morning. He said, it never fails. I'm out of some race. I'm going to walk over to a crowbar and be like, hey, I borrowed this. Here you go. He's like, I didn't know they borrowed it. They just come walking up and bringing tools. Hey, last race I used this.
We are definitely grateful to have Mr. Keith Shell, the Tool Man, better known as Keith, the Tool Man, out here with us at every race. We appreciate that so much. I see we've got Decatur, Illinois checking in, Texas, London, Kentucky, Grove City, Ohio, Livingston, Kentucky, 75 South, 7 minutes out from here. Oklahoma City, Ohio. Danny, at home, unfortunately. Danny, we're glad you could at least join us on the live feed.
Scott, back home from delivering Daniel's part yesterday. Daniel got parts delivered. It was crazy. He literally just rebuilt it yesterday morning. It was insane.
All right, guys. This is Alston Tidwell's last run of the season. This is round 3 for UTV Bounty. So this is what we're going to be watching the bouncers race on also. As Matt said, our UTV Bounty class race the exact same course as the bouncers. So this is the toughest course that we throw at any of our UTV drivers.
By far.
These are the ones that just love the challenge.
Yeah, again, I have a lot of respect for these guys, and I say it all the time, but it still stands true. They are just the heart of a true competitor. They do the toughest course possible, and it's just so gnarly. And what they do at these machines is just so incredible and a testament to their driver's skill level. I mean, these are very impressive machines, but I do not want to take anything away from their skill level. Oh! So you can see that dirt looks fresh because they brought an excavator in last night and actually made this much steeper and taller than it was yesterday. It has a little more of a roll going into it, so you have to carry a little more momentum going in. And, again, it's going to launch you out and land. Depending on your wheelbase, you may have to launch out a little bit farther. So we'll see how some of the UTVs and the bouncers handle it later today.
And I'm not sure if Alston was down here last night or this morning doing any kind of playing around or pre-running on the hills or not. But when it's your first time hitting an obstacle like this and you're trying to figure out how you need to hit it, it's definitely not easy to be the first one out on the course either.
Yeah. They're saying he broke a passenger. I'm not sure if it's an axle shaft or a ball joint. I think he's just trying to get out of the course.
But wait, back it on up and let's see Cody Kaysen running across the course there. Look at him go.
Just sprinting down there. Again, I don't know if he's going to try to just back up, just get off the course.
And there's Cody.
Yeah, just literally sprinting full tilt.
I got to give him props because he has done this all season long.
Yeah.
Doesn't hesitate to run out and help any of the drivers that are in need of some assistance.
Okay, so they're going to lift up the front of the buggy and get it up off the ground to kind of pack everything back underneath it and then let them just back up from right there. Right now they're saying it's starting to bind, so they're going to actually rip off the front corner. So it must be an A-arm that he tore up, or maybe ripped a mount off the chassis. So they're going to pick him up and let it kind of softly set it back down and then let him back up the rest of the way out of the course. Unfortunately, that really, really stinks. I don't know if they're going to be able to get that fixed before course 4.
Yeah, that is definitely a disappointing start to his bounty, or maybe finish to his bounty day of racing.
Yeah. Again, this is a brutal, brutal course. You can also see him kind of bottom out as he hit the top of that. So being able to kind of launch up and leave that. But, again, you don't want to launch out top too hard and either roll back down or slap the front end down and break some of the front end. So it's kind of a teeter-totter effect of you want to go fast but not be out of control.
Looks like they're trying to bring him back and park him down off the course. But I don't think the terrain is working with him right now. We might end up getting the excavator out here.
Cody backing him up there. I think they're just trying to keep that front wheel as straight as possible.
If you guys are just tuning in with us, welcome to Hillside Live. Welcome to Day 3, the final day of our 2024 season, presented by Mickey Thompson. We are at Wildcat Off-Road Park in East Bernstadt, Kentucky. If you want to know where East Bernstadt is, we're not that far from London, I believe. And if you don't know where London is, then I can't help you because neither do I. So
we're like 15 minutes from Richmond.
Consult
Yes.
Google Maps.
Yes, 15 minutes from Richmond, Kentucky. You're about 38 minutes from Lexington, Kentucky. About an hour and a half, 2 hours from Louisville, Kentucky. I went to school in Richmond, EKU. They just got a Buc-ee's recently. So a lot of the drivers that were coming from the northern section of the state or northern section of the U.S. hit the old Buc-ee's right before they got here.
Old Buc-ee's.
It's about 10 miles, 15 miles away. So they all stopped there, got some fuel, some snacks, and some fun little treats.
Like Buc-ee's has some sort of like addictive power to it.
They do.
People cannot drive by without stopping.
And Wally's. Wally's is kind of like the same. Buc-ee's and Wally's kind of the same thing. There's a couple of those we stop at occasionally.
All right. They were able to get him pulled off the course now. That was Alston Tidwell, our first driver out for Course 3 for our UTV Bounty class. Casey Howell on the line now.
All right, clock is hot. Here we go. Casey Howe, again, this is the third course of finals weekend. We have one more we're racing later on today.
That's right. We've got 2 hills to complete today for UTV Bounty and the Bouncers. Everybody else has been wrapped up.
Wow.
Oh.
I thought he broke something, but I couldn't tell. Maybe it was just he was whipping the steering. Okay, so that front right tire is
man.
just barely caught the tree and probably smacked that tie rod.
They're dropping like flies.
Again, definitely stinks. Looks like Casey may be able to limp it off course there. Had a smoking run going, too.
Man, Casey was sitting
Dang
second in points coming into the weekend. He did have a 59-point lead, though, but I'm not sure where this is going to leave him now if he's not able to get that finished and run course 4. That's a tough one. We do appreciate that Casey was able to go ahead and drive himself off the course, though.
Yes, we do. Yes, we appreciate the self-recovery.
No recovery required.
Yeah. Yeah, we appreciate the self-recovery.
What a convenient place to to break.
We'll give him some snacky snacks later. All right. Justin was asking if course was clear and clock is hot. That must be Madison coming up next. She had some mechanical issues, so they're literally starting it up and taking off. I think that's who's next, only because she's not pulling the line typically this weekend. All right.
She's
Here we
making
go.
her way to the line.
And Lily pulls up and takes off. Again, you're used to seeing Madison in her old chassis, which was that neon pink. The new one's black with that neon pink and neon green wrap on there. I was talking to Nathan. He had some of the new boat foam that they're putting on there. Very cool design, as well as he said it stops the panels from rattling as much, so you can really kind of hear the motor, hear the suspension, see what's doing work, and kind of focus on what's important versus all the panels rattling. So, very cool idea. I seen Dan Bowman had some of that earlier this season. It was pretty sweet. See Madison's dad down in the bottom corner of the screen. At the bottom of the track.
Madison's had a mixed.
Whoa! Oh, man.
Oh,
what
well,
a
I was going to say
wild
she's
ride.
had a mixed weekend of racing with 1 DNF and 1 third-place finish, but, wow, that definitely going to change things a little bit.
That was an impressive, wild ride. All right, we're getting a thumbs up. Again, Madison will probably just go ahead and stay in there because it only takes a few guys to get it flipped back over.
Oh, man.
That was a wild,
She didn't have a chance to try and correct that one.
All right, we got a replay here presented by Rock Racing TV. Again, we had talked about how this was going to – they had dug this out a little more, came up. Back tire just barely caught. And
it just ramped right up there.
Yeah, had plenty of clearance. Unfortunately, maybe it had too much clearance from Madison King. I mean, if you're not going to win, at least make the highlight reel, right? All right, we'll do one more. Again, throw this in slow-mo here. You can see coming up, this is all new fresh dirt that they dug out yesterday. Came in maybe just a touch too much speed. But again, watching the last UTVs, maybe had to carry a little too much and just kind of corkscrewed in the air.
Right up and over.
Man.
Can't drive out of that one.
Yeah, you really can. You really can. Oh. Again, trying to that is a good point, Taylor. And if you like watching people send it, Battle of the Bouncers will be coming up soon, and it's not an event you're going to want to miss. We will not have live coverage, so you have to come to it in person. You're going to watch Bouncers on a one-day event. Just
Old
go
school,
at it
baby.
head-to-head for all the doll hairs. So,
y'all check out this promo for Battle of the Bouncers. Hello, everybody. We're here at Winrock Park in East Tennessee.
Oh, yeah.
We are looking forward to an awesome weekend of racing.
oh, there he goes! Oh, my goodness! Oh, no!
I think he just roosted our drone.
Whoa, my goodness!
It's wild on the hill.
Wow! Oh, man!
Made it work.
Go, 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 go! There we go! Yes! Oh, my goodness! Wow!
What a wild run from Clayton Smith.
So we were a sponsor of SRRS in 2012, the first year, and we built our product to the racers. They had a need, and we had a solution. They were breaking parts, breaking axles, and we were able to build the strongest axles on the planet for them. We developed the Big Bell CV over that period of time as well, which is the 40 spline, 47 spline stuff that you see in a majority of the rock bouncers. And we've also developed UTV for the UTV buggies and the stock class racers. We've got products for that as well. So we've really utilized this racing to develop and work with these guys the best product available. So over the years, we've worked really closely with drivers like Tim Cameron. He's been very helpful helping us develop this product line for the UTV, the rock bouncer, and he's been quite successful himself doing the racing, as well as a ton of others. We couldn't be here without these guys testing our product and doing these things, pushing us to the limit to help them push them to the limit.
Rebirthed from the depths of Baja, Mickey Thompson Tires announces a new American mud terrain legend. The new Baja Legend MTZ. Silica reinforced T4 tread compound. Powerply 3-ply construction. Improved 4-pitch side biters. Proven MTZ tread styling for undisputed traction. 35 different sizes, and one is just waiting for your rig. The Baja Legend MTZ.
So this is our XT tire, and this is the 35, 10, 15. This is the biggest tire that we make for a UTV. And this is the road compound. We have two different compounds. As you can see, it's kind of hard to squeeze these together. This is going to last you a lot longer if you're just doing trail riding, riding on asphalt to get to the trails. If you're trailering and you're only going to be on trails, then I'd recommend our trail compound. And it's much softer. You grip and grab those rocks really well. That's what the majority of our drivers that we sponsor use the XC trail compound. But we also have our AMP tire. And this is a 6-ply tire. The XT is an 8-ply. It's got really tough sidewalls. And in fact, one of our drivers took first place in the Bounty Series last race in Hot Springs with this tire. So those are the two main tires that all the racers use. And you can get any of these tires and the wheels that they're mounted on through Rock Life as well.
Mickey Thompson Tires announces a new American mud terrain legend, the new Baja Legend MTZ. 35 different sizes, and one is just waiting for your rig. The Baja Legend MTZ.
And we are back here for the last day of racing for the 2024 season. The National Rock Racing Association, presented by Mickey Thompson. We are in the process. I believe we do have a course clear. We have Nathaniel Bell sitting over in that race line starting gate. Appreciate everybody tuning in the live feed. Debbie asking, will the bouncers be on YouTube later? We should be on YouTube right now, and the bouncers will be live here shortly, a few minutes. Again, we got Nathaniel Bell and his TC chassis taking off that race line starting gate. And we've had some pretty rough catastrophes so far here on Course 3 for the UTV Bounty Series. I do have one more course later today, so hopefully they can get it repaired and come back and do some more racing with us.
Nathaniel Bell came into the weekend first in points. He had a third-place finish on Course 1, a second-place finish on Course 2. We'll see how he makes his way around Course 3.
Again, I'm still astonished at how impressive these guys have been handling these hills that we used to have so much trouble. I remember when it was muddy, you couldn't even hardly get to the hard spot of the course, and these guys are just smoking right through it.
Yeah, it really shows you how the parks and the terrain change over time, but also how the drivers adjust and the vehicles and the way that they're building them, change over time with, nice, Nathaniel landed that perfectly, with suspension and, and power and tires and all the things that go into it.
And again, just how far the machines had advanced over the last 3 to 5 years is just incredible. Suspensions are getting more dialed in. Power's becoming more readily available.
Going the other way, guys.
Getting some points there.
Our first finisher, 126.711 for Nathaniel Bell on Course 3. Josh Krapinski on the line now.
Josh Krapinski, our featured driver Friday yesterday. One of them. He, again, has had a great season so far. Been on the podium a few times.
He came into the weekend fourth in points. Has had a little bit of mixed results so far with our last 2 days of racing, a DNF on Hill 1 and a fourth-place finish on Hill 2. But we have now had 2 DNFs already on Course 3. So, actually 3 DNFs on Course 3 so far. So, it might be kind of opening up a path a little bit here.
Heck yeah. Ooh, you can see that chassis there taking some abuse as he's coming on those rock ledges. Again, after several DNFs, you might be a little more conservative. Just trying to keep the buggy together, be smart, and definitely get some of those points on the board to help end up on the podium for the weekend.
Nice.
A lot smoother landing. There we go. There we go. That was a 1:20.354 for Mr. Josh Krapinski.
Our current fastest time, up the two
Wow.
that we have. A 1:20 from Josh and a 1:26 from Nathaniel Bell.
And we got Nathan King in that orange 01 buggy pulling line.
Nathan's racing for Robert Trainer this weekend. He had a first place finish on course 1. Unfortunately, a DNF yesterday after he got a little lost on course and made a wrong turn. We'll see if he can redeem that today.
Ooh! Still again.
Almost had a repeat of Sister Madison King's. A little flop over there. He's hanging with it. And Nathan is going to wrap up course 3 for UTV Bounty right now.
Again, you can see all the bouncer drivers over there packed around that race line, starting gate, watching, seeing what he's doing, seeing how the course is handling. Definitely taking some notes.
With a 105.300, the fastest time for course 3 of UTV Bounty. Second place went to Josh Krapinski, third to Nathaniel Bell. We've still got the final round for UTV Bounty, but we are going to be coming back with the RCV Axle Bouncer class, round 3, right after this.
The Mickey Thompson Premium Mud Terrain is on the road and full of undisputed attitude. The Baja Boss MT. No compromises, ever. We are purpose-built tires for truck and Jeep enthusiasts everywhere. All mud tires are not created equal, and here's the proof. Powerfly XD construction, asymmetrical tread design, extreme side biters, and more. Find your tire size today at MickeyThompsonTires.com.
RCV Performance specializes in axle manufacturing. We've been doing this for a little over 80 years on a variety of different products. We really specialized into the racing and rock balancing and all that about 15, 20 years ago, got into the specialized aftermarket automotive stuff, and we love it. So what sets RCV apart from the rest is we use a CV, whereas that replaces the U-joint in solid axle applications. So your custom 14-bolt, Dana 80, Dana 60, 44, Jeep JK, everything that has a solid front axle, we'll replace that U-joint, put a CV in, which will give you a smoother power delivery, stronger at angle, and overall better performance. So we make RCVs for everything from Suzuki Samurai to Jeep to Toyota, all the way to Rockwell, custom, whatever, you name it, we got it. So reach out to us, rcvperformance.com. Check us out online.
What is up, race fans? Welcome to day 3, the final day of the NRRA Finals, presented by Mickey Thompson. We are here at Wildcat Off-Road Park, having an awesome weekend of racing. We are ready to kick off round 3 for the RCV Axle Bouncer Cup class. We have watched some great racing over the last 2 days. These guys have been battling hard, just as they have all season, bringing that momentum and competitive edge into finals with them. So I'm going to go over points for you guys. We've got top 5 as they stand after yesterday's racing. So Tim Cameron in the lead with 924 points, followed by Daniel Heckley with 875. And then where we've got the real interesting things happening right now. Cooper Bentley back into third place with 807 points. Nick Reich right behind him with 806. 1 point separating Cooper and Nick Reich. And then we've got Clinton Garrison rounding out top 5 with 772 points coming into today. So these guys are working hard for it. We talked a little bit about this earlier. I don't foresee our first and second place changing much at all. They've just got such a point spread. But that third and fourth spot, maybe even fifth, might continue to change around. And then we had Clayton Smith in the sixth place spot as of yesterday. So interesting things happening. Lots of good racing action for sure. It's been fun to watch. Matt, what do you think we're going to be seeing today?
Yeah, again, I think, I think you're hit the nail right on the head there. Tim Cameron, we watched him earlier. Just making super smart runs all weekend, having good, smooth runs, being consistent, being safe, but also being careful. Daniel, again, got that number second spot locked in, just keeping the buggy together, being good, being fast, but being smart.
And keeping the buggy together. Daniel's had a heck of a time with that. So hopefully it's able to stay together for him.
Got a long day of racing. And then, again, that third spot, Cooper and Nick battling back and forth all weekend. 1 point apart. After 1,000 possible points, they're separated by 1 point. So it's anybody's game today and seeing how it shakes out. So, again, depending how it battles out, just changing from positions could change up for the whole season. So I think that's what everybody's really, really excited to watch right now and see how that shakes out. And obviously I'm excited too. So
for sure. We've got Brandon Davis on the line.
Wow.
We are just about ready to send him and start off round 3 for the RCB Axle Bouncer class.
And again, he is our current season champion, at least for the rest of the day. Tonight at our award banquet, we will crown a new champion who may be an old champion, actually. It was way looking out. But as of right now, Brandon Davis, our current season champion. Colby Reich, our current Rookie of the Year. Again, we saw lots of great things from Colby, too. So we got Brandon Davis, that independent front suspension buggy, sitting on that race line starting gate. Those new race line wheels blinging. Mickey Thompson tires. Hearing him come out, and that thing is just a straight monster truck.
Menace is sounding healthy this morning.
Definitely see those hands moving in that cab. He is just a driving madman right now.
Man, I love to hear that motor sing.
It is. It's definitely doing some work.
So we saw our UTV Bounty run this course already. We've got an idea of what to expect. They had the equipment out here making a few changes last night after yesterday's racing. So our drivers have definitely been out studying the hill. And this spot right here that Brandon's going up was freshly dug out. He handled it no problem.
Again, we've seen Brandon roll over on some of these. So, again, definitely being cautious, being smart. Again, just absolutely just flat-footing and ripping up this course.
He did, unfortunately, have a rollover on course 1, our first day of racing. Hated to see that for him. We had a lot of heartbreaking rollovers out here this weekend.
Choosing his line carefully as he's coming down the hill.
Pinballing.
Again, definitely being cautious, being smart, trying to get those last bit of points he can today. And ripping through that finish line. That was a 114.342 for Mr. Brandon Davis. That is our first run of the day on the third course of this finals weekend.
And we've got Clayton Smith on the line now. Clayton has been battling some issues. Unfortunately, 2 DNFs so far. He had a pretty wild ride, a rollover that he was able to save on course 1. Definitely got himself that skinny pedal nomination, but then he's been having, I think, some battery issues.
Yeah, I seen him posting about that.
Buggy has not been wanting to run for him on the last 2 hills. So let's hope he can get a finish under his belt today.
Again, definitely making quick work of that uphill section. Clayton, half of that Reclaim Racing team. Going to carry some momentum into that, but not send it too hard.
You know, and it can be hard to judge on these ledges. Just the right amount of momentum that you need in order to get up and over and not be, you know, sliding on your belly pan or hanging off the back end still. But you don't want to be launching yourself straight up into the air either.
Yeah.
And there's such variation in these ledges, especially this Super Grip stair step area he's coming down, and then the big dirt ledges at the bottom that are freshly dug out since yesterday.
Yeah, being very calculated is very important there. You know, there's that kind of fine line between being fast but being accurate, and that's super important when you're...
With a 107.017, Clayton Smith is officially on the board for this weekend. I know he's got to be glad about that.
And talking about sitting on the board, we have Cooper Bentley sitting in that starting gate, and he's going to definitely try to end up there.
So Cooper has definitely been a big part of the story and the interest of this season as he's battled back and forth. At one point, even having a small points lead ahead of Tim Cameron in the bouncer class, which, guys, that doesn't happen very often.
No.
Timmy's the GOAT for a reason. So that was super exciting. Cooper wasn't able to hang on to that lead, but he's still battling out for the 3rd place spot right now with Nick Reich. Cooper currently 1 point ahead of Nick Reich.
And again, Cooper being our youngest leader ever in a championship series. Definitely trying to make a statement here this weekend on this last day of racing. Coming down the hill, just making his time.
He had a 2nd place finish yesterday on course 2 and a 5th place finish on course 1.
Again, you see a lot of the drivers coming up and kind of letting that front end drop down.
All right, and straight on to the finish line, Cooper. Let's see what kind of time you got.
Wow. That's a 97.410 for Cooper Bentley, and that is a fast time. That is our new leader. But is that going to be fast enough time to hang on to that 3rd place run?
And he also had, it looks like the same issue that he had yesterday. As soon as he crossed through the finish line, had to go ahead and stop, and I'm not sure if something's going on there.
Yeah, well, yesterday we heard kind of a crack or a pop or something. And
I heard a little bit of that just now, too.
And we thought he maybe broke an axle shaft, a drive shaft, but pulled right off.
Richard Hodges on the course.
Again, Richards has made quite a few upgrades this season. We were talking last night about transmissions. Said he's got a Fritz transmission in there with all the good parts in there. Also added some rear steer this season. Definitely helped out.
Oh yeah, gotta love
it. It used to be a bit of a flex to have rear steer. Now it's becoming almost a necessity.
Definitely a lot more common.
Again, Richard, one of our North Carolina drivers. Having a nice smooth run going here. Again, trying to get out there and let that front end land. Ooh.
All right, Richard? It hasn't been said yet today, so it seems like a good time. For it is all downhill from here.
Again, you can see some of those undercuts there, just taking their time, being smart. Ripping through that finish line.
With a 121.439. Tim Cameron on the line. Timmy's got that solid points lead for the season. But still racing hard. It's up on the top box just from these 3 days of racing. Timmy well known for that throttle style that he's got.
Again, you can definitely hear that flutter there. Again, Timmy making quick work of the downhill section. Being smart, being calculated there. You can make up a lot of time on downhill sections. Again, the downside of it is, it is a little more sketchy, but definitely can pick up quite a bit of time.
Getting squared up for that SCS slope. Nice and easy. I think we're going to see some conservative runs from Timmy today to round out the season.
Again, trying to play it smart and lock in that number one spot, the championship. Hearing that motor roar. That's a 98.471 coming in just right behind Cooper Bentley. Again, is that going to be a fast enough time to hang on for the day? We'll see.
So we're about a third of the way through.
We got Ben Driscoll coming out the race line starting gate. Ben picked up this chassis about halfway through the season, and it's just getting more and more comfortable with it.
Right now, Cooper Bentley's in the lead with a 97, followed by Tim Cameron with a 98, and Clayton Smith with a 107. About a third of the way through our field of drivers here for Course 3 of the RCB Axle Bouncer class.
Oh, no!
Ben Driscoll getting wild at the top of the hill.
Trying to save it. See if he can get it back on all fours. There we go!
Oh, how did he stick that landing?
Cow. He is definitely trying to save it.
Oh, his adrenaline is through the roof right now.
You have to know he is absolutely pumped to be back on all four tires.
Oh, man, what a tumble from the top of the hill. Somehow stuck the landing.
That is incredible. See if he's going to be able to get it going again. I don't know if he broke any axle shafts or drive shafts. They did have to weld his output shaft back together to get it going for today. So he may be calling it quits. Looks like he's going to go ahead and pull off course. Again, a absolute wild ride for Ben Driscoll there.
Dude, talk about earning a Skinny Pedal nomination.
That's impressive. Here's our replay presented by Rock Racing TV. Just barely tipped over a little bit. And again, almost saved it before he rolled down.
And that is a long ways down the hill, guys. That's a long way to cartwheel.
It is.
And then to land on his tires and still attempt some driving. Yeah. Man, way to go, Ben Driscoll. I hate to see that that's how his round 3, maybe his day of racing is going to end, but Safe to say he's going to be taking home at least one award this weekend for the skinny pedal. Although we still got some racing to go, and I mean, crazy things could continue to happen.
And again, if you can't win, at least try to make the highlight reel there.
Oh, he is the highlight reel right now.
Got Connor Flynn in that Bullzilla buggy sitting in that race line starting gate over there. Making sure we got a course clear.
All right, guys, let me go ahead and give you a rundown of where things stand right now. That was one mega wild ride from Ben Driscoll. If you are just tuning in and you missed it, you got to go back and watch. Cooper Bentley in the lead right now with a 97, followed by Tim Cameron with a 98, Clayton Smith with a 107, Brandon Davis with a 114, and Richard Hodges with a 121. Connor Flynn waiting patiently on the starting line. Connor is running for Jack Porter's points this weekend. Listening to some updates on the course right now. All right, guys, bear with us while we get a course reset.
All right. All right, Connor Flynn taking out that race line starting gate. He is running for Jack Porter this weekend. Jack Porter normally running that Venom buggy for us.
Whoa, Connor is moving.
Already starting out on two wheels. Connor already went for one wild ride this weekend in that rear engine buggy.
Yeah, he had a bit of a front flip.
Yeah.
Coming down the hill yesterday. Hopefully that's not playing in his head and going to hold him back too much here on course 3. Doesn't look like it so far. Getting squared up for the SCS slope.
Nice smooth landing there. Getting that rut, just getting absolutely dug out. Again, you can see a lot of drivers kind of resetting right for those big dirt jumps. You know, because you want to calculate it. You want good speed carrying through, but you don't want to air it out too much. Again, coming down those off-camber rocks. Looks like he's got a front right flat, maybe?
Oh, come on, Connor. There you go. A little bobble at the end there.
There we go.
But he's through the finish line. And it looked like he did come down the wrong spot. Had a little confusion there right on the last slope. And unfortunately, that is going to be a DNF for Connor Flynn. Man, we definitely hate to see that. Any of our drivers. We know that they work hard to be here, to chase these points, to drive hard on the hill, put on a show. We always hate seeing the DNFs.
Chris Grigg coming out of race line starting gate. Chris Grigg getting real comfortable in this buggy this season. Added some more power, put an LSA supercharger on there, and has definitely been doing some work.
That thing is sounding strong now.
And he is
he
is liking driving. He said, I'm going to do some more driving like Thursday, not like Friday. So I don't know if that means he's going to go a little harder or be a little more conservative. But being the last day of the season, I think we're going to see some wild runs out of Chris.
I don't think that we've ever seen much conservative driving from Chris Grigg. He is out here to throw down.
I would concur.
Whoa.
Get a little squirrely there. Coming around, getting lined up. Perfect landing. Nice smooth run going there.
Pinballing down those super grip stair steps. Oh!
Whew. Just letting that motor eat. That's a 103.016 for Mr. Chris Grigg.
We're a little under halfway through Course 3 for the RCB Axle Bouncer class. And Jay Stortz is on the course.
That forward play buggy out here doing work this weekend. Jay, another guy that also likes to put on a show.
Oh, yeah, we've seen some rowdy moments from Jay Stortz.
This Ford motor, we have absolutely just heard echo through hollers before.
You know you're in Kentucky when there's hollers.
Yes, just echoing through the hollers.
I think one of Jay's notable moments was when he was racing in the UTV stock class yesterday, and had a rollover, and then attempted a self-recovery on his own.
Yeah.
Basically trying to deadlift a razor. It was pretty impressive and equal parts impressive and entertaining.
Again, Jay trying to get up there. That big dirt ledge. Again, you want to carry momentum, but you also don't want to air it out or flip back over. Again, that far right line is what I ended up taking yesterday. After a couple attempts, I couldn't quite get there under partial power.
Come on, Jay. This is a fairly conservative run.
It is. Again.
For Jay Storts.
Trying probably not to roll over after we've seen so many crazy rides this weekend. I think
we really have.
Just trying to keep it on all fours at least until the last course of the season.
Yeah, we still got round 4.
Definitely a good fast pace there.
141.937 for Jay Storts.
Great time. We're about halfway through our final day of racing here. We got about halfway through this course, the course number 3. We got Clint Garrison in that race line starting gate. Again, Clint had a very consistent season. Definitely always getting out there and getting a little wild with it.
Clint is coming into the day 5th in points overall right now. He traded spots with Clayton Smith. I don't know if he's going to be able to catch up to Nick Reich or not.
Ooh. Again, speaking of Nick Reich, he's down at the bottom just watching Clayton's run. Again, learning everything he can for his turn. Again, watching these ledges there. Clayton just zinging around that corner.
Clint's smooth and steady driving style has definitely suited him well this season. To be able to be top 5 in any of these classes we talked about a little bit over the last couple days, I mean, that's no easy feat.
Yeah.
After racing all season long and be able to come in and be in one of the top 5 spots.
Yeah, holding on to that spot is just a battle each weekend.
There it is, straight on to the finish.
Ripping right through there. That's a 101.278 for Mr. Clint Garrison.
Okay. Yeah. That was crazy.
We got Ethan Jones pulling that race line starting gate. We're getting the signal clock is hot.
Yeah.
Justin Holback down there doing our starting gate this weekend. In that wicked buggy. His buggy's looking very smooth. That suspension is definitely dialed in.
Even any of us can do. Sounds like a good life motto.
Yes, do the best you can. Using that rear steer to whip around there. Whoa! Aired it out.
Nice and smooth up the SCS stair steps there. Ethan Jones is putting us at right about halfway through course 3 for the RCV Axle Bouncer class. And there it is.
We go. .489. And I do want to let everybody know that Ben Driscoll just came up here and told us he's good. He's been checked out. He feels all right. He took that wild ride down the hill. Wanted his family and everyone to know that he is good. Heck yeah. Got Randall Key, an Undertaker, taking off that race line starting gate. Independent front and independent rear suspension. Randall does drive with hand control.
I was going to say, this is definitely the most unique buggy out here, not only for the IFS and IRS aspect, because we don't see that very often in a bouncer, but also, like Matt said, this buggy is all completely controlled by hand. Randall is paralyzed from the waist down, so he is doing some major multitasking in there.
Yeah,
with hand controls for everything.
And when you throw rear steer on top of that, and Randall uses his quite a bit. Like, you can see him whip around corners. So when you throw rear steer in there with that, it is
steer and shifting, rear steer, brake, throttle.
Yeah, it's a lot. People do not realize how much he has going on in that cab at any given time.
And Randall has been racing with us since the very beginning of this series in 2012. He has raced in some capacity every season since then, and we always love having him out here to join us. He's gone through a couple different buggies over the years. I know we've had Blaze and Rage.
Man,
I don't even remember what came before those. And then, of course, Undertaker now. Definitely a mean machine.
I know he was waiting on some...
Oh!
Whoa! He was waiting on some parts, I think, to get Rage, and then he ended up getting the Undertaker buggy, and he obviously, being independent front, independent rear, definitely handles very, very well on a lot of courses. Taking his time, kind of judging where he needs to hit it at. Whoa, smooth. I think that might have been the smoothest run we saw up that little dirt wall there.
You know, I got to give it to Randall, too, because he doesn't have the opportunity to go out and walk the hills like all of our other drivers and see everything up close and in person before he gets out there. So he's having to make all these decisions and adjustments on the fly and seeing all, these obstacles and different things on the hill up close and in person for the first time as he's out there racing.
All right, making that final turn. Seeing what his time's going to be here. That's a 152.613 from Mr. Randall Key.
Looks like we've got about 5 drivers left for round 3.
Got Dan Bowman sitting down that race line starting gate. Make sure we got a course clear. It's exciting to see all the drivers pressed up against right where the starting line is, just waiting and watching. Again, I think that, and I think Nick Wright getting ready to come up, I think is probably the biggest one they're waiting to see.
Oh, yeah.
See what his time's going to be, where that puts him in points, who needs to come out of that last course later on today. It's the anticipation with those, I think, is just palpable right now.
Give you guys a quick rundown. Cooper Bentley in the lead with a 97, followed by Tim Cameron with a 98. Clint Garrison with a 101. Chris Grigg with a 103. And Clayton Smith with a 107. It's your top 5 currently. We've still got Dan Bowman, Nick Wright, Daniel Heckley, and Wade Good. Here we go with Dan Bowman.
Give the other half of that Reclaim Racing team. Out ripping it in this TC-built chassis. Dan has went for some wild rides this season in this buggy. Dan, another guy who just drives it like a monster truck. Just
give a hand to whoever needs it and be willing to still do some tinkering and tuning for him. Even though they're going to go out and race it against him on the hill. Like Matt said, Dan's been doing a great job piloting Tyrant this season.
He is just ripping through this course. Love the red wrap with the red headlights. Very cool looking. Kind of making Tyrant his own.
Oh, bring it around. Come on. There we go. $116.365.
Wow.
For Dan Bowman.
Got Daniel Bowman. I'm sorry. Daniel Heckley pulling over there. Dan Bowman pulling out of the way. All right, we got Nick Wright. Clock is hot. Again, this is a very anticipated run to see.
Nick Wright only 1 point behind Cooper Bentley right now. Cooper in third, Nick in fourth.
Definitely
and it's anybody's race at this point.
Yeah, it really is. Definitely trying to do some work in this Fordzilla buggy.
Oh, and he somehow caught a rock that was hiding in the bushes there. It's not slowing him down, though. Easy does it, Nick.
And you know, everything inside of him is wanting to just go as fast as he can now.
Definitely.
Being able to have that constraint.
That can be really hard when the adrenaline gets pumping and you're in race mode.
Yeah, again, showing constraint at some points has got to be the hardest part about driving that buggy. Coming up to his dirt ramps here.
Cooper is in the lead right now with a 97 on course 3.
We saw Nick absolutely air it out earlier this weekend on those dirt hills there.
This is going to be a quick run.
is.
I can't tell at this point how it's going to compare to Cooper's.
Ooh.
Come on, Nick.
Here we go. Wow, 93.578. That is your new leader. Barely squeaking out Cooper.
Nicely done, Nick Reich.
So we got to wonder what is going to happen in that final course this weekend.
Well, we still have Daniel Heckley on the line right now. Time to beat is Nick Reich.
Daniel has been absolutely just flying this season, this buggy. Ooh, it's going to be quick.
104.238. A solid run.
Yeah.
Not enough to break him into that top three right now, though. Nick Reich still in the lead with a 93, followed by Cooper Bentley with a 97, and Tim Cameron with a 98. And DC Thompson is on the line. We've got 2 drivers left for course 3 of the RCB Axle Bouncer class.
We got DC running for Ethan Martin this weekend. Again, DC races our UTV class, as well as picked up a bouncer class this season. So been having fun with that, doing pretty well. We were talking last night. He was having a good time. He said, but I always get stuck and lost. I said, don't feel bad, buddy. We all do. And he races.
He is a little prone to getting lost on the course, and I
is.
hate it for him every time.
And again, when you're doing a course this long, plus you're doing multiple courses, multiple classes, multiple days, it's not hard to get lost. Again, that's before you throw all the bouncing and the thrashing around inside the cab. So I said, don't feel bad, buddy. I get lost. I only race one vehicle in one class.
And I know it's been a long time in the works for him to get into a full-size bouncer and be racing, so it's been fun to see him join in the bouncer class this season for sure. He's a heck of a UTV driver. We've seen him racing and very competitively in the UTV classes for several seasons.
And transitioned so well to a bouncer. Again, like you said, a very great UTV racer, so I think it was just such a natural transition to a full-size bouncer.
He's got it. He didn't get lost
There we
at
go.
all. Look at that.
Heck yeah.
Good job, DC.
That was a 103.618, extremely respectable time for Mr. DC Thompson. All right, it looks like we got one driver left. Mr. Wade Good sitting on that race line starting gate.
And Wade is leading the pack this weekend with 2 first-place finishes so far in the bouncer class. The time to beat is a 93.5 from Nick Reich right now.
I asked him if we were going to saw any more wild runs. He said, I ain't been wild yet. Started laughing. So, again, he has had just an absolute weekend, finishing first on not one but 2 courses here. Definitely going to try to finish strong today and see if he can't win the weekend.
Wade is running for Colby Reich's points this weekend. I'm sure Colby's not sad about that.
He is not. He is not. And Colby is here. He's out here in a military truck hanging out. Been given rides all weekend.
So far looking about on par to Nick's run. To me, anyway.
Been letting that front end kind of come up and land there on those dirt hills. That buggy is just doing work.
Yeah, we hadn't seen that one out racing here in a while before this weekend.
Ooh,
Wade's got this
he
downhill.
is flying downhill.
Locked in.
I mean, just absolutely just bobbling as he's ripping through there.
With a 91.129, Wade just won his third hill for the RCV Axle Bouncer class. Moving Nick Reich down to a second place on this course with a 93.
That, again, just an absolute blistering time on that third course by Mr. Wade Good. So far, dominating this weekend coming into it. Again, I think he's like, again, the hometown favorite, doesn't live too far from here. Got to enjoy that. I'm sure he's feeling pretty good right now.
I am sure, too. With three first-place finishes so far. We still got course 4. But, man, everyone raced their hearts out on that, and it was definitely fun to watch. Nick Reich in that second-place spot with a 93, and then we had Cooper Bentley with a 97, Tim Cameron with a 98, Clint Garrison with a 101. Was that 5?
I think so.
Or 4. And then we had Chris. We had a couple of 103s in there as well. So
that right around that 100 range, there's like a 6-pack right around that.
Yeah,
103,
they're all hanging
105.
out.
Yeah.
I'm not going to do the math right now for you guys, but all right, we are going to take a quick break in between, or before we come back with course 4. We will be back at 1 o'clock. That's Eastern time this weekend. And you guys don't go too far. We'll be back with round 4 for UTV Bounty and the Bouncer class. We'll see you then.
We'll see you guys.